Good morning, Bucknutters. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2017. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and Change, coming to you from a sunny, clear, crisp Gem City. Duane, not looking a gift horse in the mouth. I assume it's the same in Columbus.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous up here. Windows open and, you just stand there and enjoy the morning.
These days are brief. As I was told by Mr. Bucknuts one time, if it was like this every day in Dayton, there'd be 3 million people living here. Note, there are not 3 million people living in Dayton, so we're going to enjoy the weather and get this going. We are obviously also enjoying the after effects of another spring game extravaganza. 80-plus thousand in the stands, people buying $5 tickets online for $30, only in Columbus. It was also a great display on the field. Got to see some guys get after it that we haven't seen in a while. And while we don't want to make too much of the spring game, as I've said before, you could probably not watch the spring game and be just as informed on the Buckeyes. However, we are going to take it and run with it a little bit here, and we have to, considering Urban Meyer has said after the game, since there is no defined backup quarterback, Dwayne Haskins and Joe Burrow are battling it out. I do realize there are some of you that wish this conversation included J.T. Barrett. For the sake of my sanity, we're not going to cover that today because that's not going to happen anytime soon. So, practically applied, who should be the backup quarterback, Duane?
The guy that Urban Meyer is not talking about, which is nobody. Don't name a backup quarterback. Do not do it. He's not going to. That's the smart move. Dan, we don't need to know. We want these guys to continue to compete against each other. We want them both to stick around, especially after that display Saturday. J.T. Barrett is the quarterback here. He's defending Big Ten Player of the Year. He should be the starting quarterback. But those other two guys, let's just be honest, they throw the ball better. Haskins especially. Haskins, the ball just jumps off his hand. It's just, it seems like you see the motion and you think it's coming out of there, and then you're surprised at just how much velocity is coming off of that. He just, boom. I love watching him throw the ball. But you've got your experienced guy who's been a winner. How many games has Ohio State won with J.T. Barrett at quarterback? You don't bench your senior 3-year starter. You don't do that. So fans need to get over it. It's going to be J.T. Barrett unless he is injured or unless his play just deteriorates badly. I don't think that Urban Meyer is going to stay with that's the downside of having a senior. You've got no future with him. So if he's not performing, you're going to sit him. It's just that simple. So but right now, J.T. Barrett is going to be the starter, and that's the way it should be. And the only reason that Urban Meyer should set a backup is if that backup is going to be the starter because of injury or that Barrett is just not performing. That's the only way he should pick a guy.
On your timeline, when should he announce the backup quarterback? Or is that a thing where if Barrett goes down in a game, we should all look to the sideline and get our answer and see who's running on the field?
That's what it's going to be, Dan. He should not say anything. He knows in his head what he's going to do. But he shouldn't tell the players. He shouldn't tell the media. I wouldn't even tell the coaching staff just so you don't want it to get out. You don't want either one of these guys to leave the program. You want to hold on to them. You want to name a quarterback, a starting quarterback for next year at the end of spring maybe, or maybe even wait till fall. You don't want them to go. So you don't name and you play them both, when in mop-up time or you put one in for a while and put the other one in, let them both play. Try to keep it as even as possible. Let them both think, I'm going to get in here. Don't name a backup. If there's no point in it.
That's very interesting, Duane. And I have to say, I kind of agree with you now thinking about it. I don't think any one of these guys wants to sit out a year. Keep in mind they both redshirted, so the idea of sitting out another year and transferring, I don't think either one wants to do. I will say that having watched both, I could accept an argument for either. I guess based on experience, Burrow I'd bet on him to be more likely to go in there. But Haskins does have that flat-footed, my arm whips across, and the ball's just zipping out NFL arm. So good problems to have. Also consider the fact you have a little number 18 back there, too, if you want to throw a curveball. Very impressive. Speaking of the quarterbacks, what did you think of the passing game? I think we knew, given last year's struggles, Urban was pretty public that we need to work on that, and then bringing Kevin Wilson in, I think we've all increased our expectations for the offense kind of getting back on track. But did you see anything schematically that jumped out to you that impressed you?
Yeah, for one thing, right off the bat, they throw a deep out. How long has it been since we've seen the deep out in the Ohio State offense? I mean, we saw different stuff. There were more passes to the tight end in this game than there were in half a season last year. It just looked different. It looked sharp. It looked precise. It just had been raggedy for a couple of years. I mean, let's go back to the 2015 spring game, how raggedy it was. Cardell Jones is in there, and we were like, oh, this is no big deal. This is a veteran team defending national champions coming back. Don't worry about this. And we did need to worry about it. We had the wrong guys running things. They did not have. They just, it wasn't sharp, Dan. It just was raggedy. And you saw it in this game. Everything was on. The timing was right. It was just precise, like a passing offense has to be. Everybody's got to be where they're supposed to be. Our passes are a waste of time. It's no gain. And we saw that Saturday. And like I said, a deep out. I was just astonished. We've seen a deep out. And they executed it perfectly. So, obviously it's something they've been working on. It hasn't just been, mothballed. They pulled it out and said, this is the play we're going to run. And it's a very effective play. And like I said, getting the ball to the tight ends, it was just so effective and precise.
Yeah, it does look like Wilson is an expert at spreading you horizontally and then vertically or vice versa. And when you have the best players, that's all you really need to do is get as many one-on-one matchups as possible. Let's hope we see that coming. I'm obviously in the tank for the guy just based on his pedigree and what we had before. So before we get off the spring game and move to recruiting via the spring game, who else flashed for you on offense or defense? Like we said, we're not going to make too much of the spring game, but you can pick up little things, players that jumped out to you.
Well, the one that I would call him player of the game was Jonathan Cooper. Jonathan Cooper had 2 sacks. He had several pressures. He was in on a few tackles. He had a really outstanding game. I hadn't been hearing anything about him all spring, but he certainly flashed in this game. Obviously, Johnny Dixon, healthy Johnny Dixon is a good thing for our offense. Looked really good. I thought Paris Campbell, he just seemed more confident. And obviously, once he gets the ball, something bad is going to happen for the defense. He gets in the open field, it's try to catch him, and that's a tough proposition. Those were 3 guys that really stood out for me in this game. Justin Hilliard had a good game. He had a couple of tackles for loss and missed another one that he actually had made the right read and got in there and got his hands on the guy but didn't get him down. He had a really good game. Seeing him healthy is very important because I'm just not certain about the Worley to middle linebacker experiment. Let's see how that's going to go. Those were guys that really stood out to me in this game.
Yeah, I was looking at some pictures of the game, and there's an offset lineup where we have essentially Tuff Borland and Justin Hilliard in there as inside linebackers. I'm thinking that's not a bad set of backup inside linebackers. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
What jumped out to me for the defense is they're just so deep. They really have so many places they can go. I mean, you're talking about Jonathan Cooper, and I can make an argument He's literally in the double digits of defensive linemen in terms of playing time. So they're they're a juggernaut on defense right now, talent-wise. They're a little bit young in some spots, but to me, it was just another example that the NFL should set up shop right outside the WAC there and save themselves some travel costs. Speaking of...
Well, you look at Chase Young is coming in, too. Chase Young's coming in.
It's ridiculous.
So...
I don't even know what to say about it. It's getting gluttonous. Chase, I said this on the air the other day. As good as everybody is, and they're very good, as a prospect, Chase Young would probably be ranked number one of the group. So maybe Bosa, but it's just incredible. It's gluttony, and it's enjoyable in this case. Got to talk recruiting. Obviously, the weekend got off to a rollicking start with the commitments of Max Wray, the offensive lineman from Franklin, Tennessee. Behind closed doors here, we knew about that one. Even before that, there was there was also a commitment from Josh Proctor, the safety from Oklahoma. We did not know that one was coming. There were a bunch of other guys here. Let's start with Wray and Proctor. Your assessment of the newest verbally committed Buckeyes.
I love Wray in particular. We really needed that. You know, I know there's some angst right now about Jackson Carman. I think he's going to be a Buckeye. We needed another guy. Really, I think we need a minimum 3 tackles in this class, and I would take 4. If the right guy came on, I'd take 5, Dan. I'd really go that far with it. We need to upgrade our tackle position. Last year was just crazy that we had 2 tackles, the starter, and 1 backup. That's all we had on the roster, guys who could really play the tackle position. That's unacceptable. You know, we've improved our depth a little bit this year, but not by much. We saw Josh Myers in there at guard where he should be. We still, we added Pridgeon who can help there, even though he's playing guard right now. He can kick out the tackle. So we've got to improve our depth of tackle. Got to happen. So, and Max Wray's big time. Absolutely great athletic guy.
Long-term vision-wise, hold on a sec. Yeah, long-term vision-wise, you envision Jackson Carman on the left side, Max Wray as the right tackle.
Yes, that's how I have him. Wray plays right tackle in high school, and Jackson Carman plays left tackle in high school. And I love the pad level. He's a knee bender instead of a waist bender. That's huge with offensive line. You got to get your butt down and get your legs up underneath you and drive. And he's just a great looking specimen. He moves people. It's a great get for us. Really great get and a very important get. As far as Proctor's concerned, Josh Proctor, we're trying to upgrade the safety position. We have been at a deficit. We have just not been good at safety for a long time. Now we are. We just produced Malik Hooker, and maybe the best safety to come out in the draft in a few years. And we brought some guys in. Jordan Fuller's in there, but we still want to keep upgrading that position. Jim Tressel just seemed to think that he could go get any athlete and stick him back there, and everything would be okay. And he was actually who brought in he brought in some good safeties, but for the most part he just would take any good high school athlete and put him back there, and we suffered for it. Weren't as good a safety as we should have been for years, and now we see Urban Meyer really directly upgrading the position. And this kid, he's big time. Dan, this kid, I hadn't really looked at him because it wasn't a matter. Everybody was surprised at this. I don't know anybody who really was ahead of the game on this and knew Proctor was leaning toward the Buckeyes. You look at Crystal Balls, all 100%. He's an Oklahoma kid, and all 100% were for Oklahoma, and then he commits. But he's a guy that can play both as a free safety and a strong safety. He could be a physical guy, but he's good on the ball too. It's a great get for us. Definitely adds depth to the position that we need.
Like you said, it's very rare a kid can commit and catch everybody off guard, and I'll tell you, that one blindsided me completely. another defensive back who was there that seems to be more and more interested in Ohio State. I was holding out hope on this. It's incredible. Another elite Texas kid, the number 2 corner in the country, Anthony Cook.
Anthony Cook he really should be, the fans should look at this guy, look at his film and see a kid that looks a lot like Okuda. He's that good. A little bit bigger kid, I think, but he's great on the ball, and he will bring it. He will bring the heat. Great in run support. He's number 2 corner and another outstanding class for corner, and he belongs. I mean, if Surtain was just not an entirely different level, it would be Anthony Cook would be the number 1 corner in the class. And it looks like we're in really good shape with him. Be huge to add another cornerback. And here's the thing, Dan. We've lost so many in the last 2 drafts, and we're probably going to see Sheffield be a one and done if everything works out. So bringing in more cornerbacks is, you'd think, well, we stocked up on them last year. Yeah, but we're losing them after a couple of years. They're here no more than 3 years. They're gone. So, I mean, we got Lattimore. He's probably going to be the first cornerback off the board. He started 1 year here. So keeping them rotating through in the past happy days that we're seeing in college football these days, it's important. We can take another corner. I wouldn't mind seeing 2 cornerbacks in this class.
Yeah, that's become one of those positions where I think when in doubt, you stockpile there. Consider the fact that I've been told those inside the WAC believe Denzel Ward will also be a number 1 draft pick this coming year, possibly having to replace the top 2 guys again. So let's keep the train going. Going to finish on this one, kind of an interesting name, Zamir White, the running back, the consensus number 1 running back in the class, was here and visited. I saw some people comparing him to Zeke. What's your vibe on that comparison?
We were arguing about it on the boards yesterday. Had a good discussion going. I just don't see that. I'm not completely sold on Zamir White. He's a very good back. He would definitely be a take. There's no doubt about that. But comparing him, we're talking about the best running back on the planet. And Zeke, you don't do that. Just don't do that to the kid. Don't try to compare him to a guy like that. As I said, very good back, runs with good power, very determined. I like that he gets north. And that's one thing that bigger backs need to do is don't fiddle around. If you're running horizontally, you're not doing anything for your football team. Get north as quickly as possible. He does that. Brutally effective back. That's one thing that I've always admired in a back is, get me 4 yards. Whatever else you do, get me 4 yards. Everybody, we talk about the home run hitters, and Zeke was both a brutally effective back and he was a home run. The brutally effective back, that's what you need. That's, move the chains, Dan. Move the chains. Kid can do. So yeah. I don't see a superstar back. I don't see a kid that makes me go, wow. But, he's an excellent back, and you take him.
There's no question our standards have been raised with Zeke. We'll end it there, but praying for another Zeke. We could be standing here quite some time. We appreciate Duane stopping by. This was a meat-laden BM5. Any questions you have, comments, or concerns, drop it in the messages here, and we will address them. Have a good one, Bucknuts.